Dark silence. Outside, the wind was howling and rain was tapping against the windows. Alice trembled in bed because she was alone that night. He silence in the house unsettled her. Besides, the noise of the rain and the whispers of Thewin, no other sound could be heard. A sense of unease crept over Alice. For a few minutes, she lay quietly in bed. Suddenly, she felt the door creak open. As her eyes roamed the darkness, she saw something entering the room, a presence in the form of a shadow. Alice quickly slid beneath the covers, holding her breath. The shadow by the door was slowly advancing into the bedroom. Her heart was pounding. Maybe it was just a product of her imagination, but she could feel something right beside her. Her eyes scrutinized the shadow, and she caught the gleam of a flashlight. A human silhouette emerged. Alice continued to hide, breathless, but then she noticed something strange in the room, an old inscription on the walls, as if it had been written. However, it was just one word: run. In fear, Alice jumped out of bed and fled the room. In the corridor, as she ran, she saw the same word written on the walls: run. It was repeated over and over on both sides. When she reached the threshold of the door, it was closed. She started pounding on it, screaming. But no one could hear her. In a panic, she turned back and continued down the corridor. As she ran down the hallway, she noticed a path leading to another room. She tried to open the door, but it was also locked. She could feel something closing in on her at any moment. Finally, Alice managed to open a window and jumped out. She ran, drenched in the rain. She kept going, without looking back. When morning came, Alice was found exhausted and frightened by the side of the road. She called the police and returned home. The police investigated, but found no traces. The inscriptions on the walls had disappeared as well. After that day, Alice never returned to that house, but she still wondered about the meaning of that mysterious writing and what that dark shadow was. And every night when it rained, she could feel the terrifying word echoing in her mind: run. Default text months went by, but she was still searching for answers. She delved into research, examined local legends, and even tried to find information about the history of the house. But she found nothing. She no longer knew whether the event had been a dream or reality. One day, by chance, she found a photograph she had taken on that dark night. A black shadow stood at the threshold of the door. As she examined the photograph, she took out a piece of paper from her pocket with trembling hands. It was an old memory book. On the first page, she saw the word run again. She flipped through the pages and noticed the same word written on every page. She closed the book in panic. In that moment, she felt the door creaking open. Slowly turning her head, she saw the black shadow. Her eyes gleamed with fear. It took the memory book from her hand and looked at the empty pages on the wall. Then it took a pen and in silence wrote the word WHY. The shadow stood still, looking into Alice's eyes. For a moment, silence filled the room. Then the shadow slowly retreated and closed the door. Alice left the room, determined never to return. She was now moving towards an unknown world. The question why still echoed in her mind. Maybe she would never find the real answers, but she no longer had to run. Her fear had given her strength. She was no longer afraid of anything. The end.